Hello, I'm Steve Abraham. I'm going to tell you about my UMCA Month World Record attempt, which I did a few weeks ago. Um, First of all, the reason I did the month record was basically a practice run for the year record. As you probably know, I've already tried going for the UMCA hammer record, the highest annual mileage record. It didn't quite go to plan because broken ankles and diet changes and all sorts of things like that. So I stopped the year record and maybe had to decide where I was going to do the year record again. And after a couple of months, I decided yes, I still want to go for the year record. And doing the month record just made perfect sense as a practice run and test a few theories out from what I did in the year record before and see how the training was going. So I started training with a coach and get some power data because I've started using the power meter for the first time. And just to learn things, and you know, because there's so little known about the year record and how to ride it, the more you can learn, I think the bigger advantage you got. So day one went well. The plan was to start at midnight, get 300 miles done. I didn't need to be fast. If I did 15 mile an hour starting at midnight, that's 300 miles in 20 hours. 15 mile an hour, I knew from training I could do that very easily. So if I finished 8 o'clock at night, because I was planning on starting the day at 9 in the morning, that gave me 13 hours rest. So get to bed by 9, that gives me 12 hours. So you're looking at 10 hours sleep before I start the next day, which is more than enough. So the first 300 miles went better than planned. What happened was I was riding to a certain power output, and I was actually riding at a lower power output than I intended to for a typical day. But that turned out to be faster than I thought it would. So I ended up doing the first 300 miles in what was it, 18 hours instead of 20. I thought, well, shall I do 2 hours more riding, or shall I go to bed earlier? My legs were a bit stiff on the 300 mile ride. After about 200 miles, I thought I'll go to bed earlier and get a bit more rest, which is what I did. And it just made it easier to start earlier the next day. The next few days went really well, and that was a really good start to the whole month. I got about a good 100 miles up on the schedule. I was aiming for 7,000 miles for the month for 30 consecutive days, and that gave me an average of 233.3 a day to average, and about 2 or 3 days in I was about 100 miles up on that average. So that gave me a bit of a good buffer right from the start without cutting into my sleep. So I wasn't deprived of sleep, everything was going well. The next thing I did was the Audax ride, the 600 kilometres flatlands. And I've been a member of Audax UK since 1992 when I was 17 years old. And every year, since my first year as a member of Audax, I've done the Super Randonneur Series. The Super Randonneur Series is basically a 200, 300, 400 and 600 kilometre ride within the time limits. That's a minimum speed of 15 kilometres an hour and a maximum of 30 kilometres an hour. That's not strictly true because there's sort of different types of events, but that's basically it. Yeah, just go on the Audax website and loads of good rides on there. But basically, all of my long distance cycling has really come from Audax. That's what really got me started and sort of made me realise what I could do and what could be done. I've seen so many other good riders through Audax who are national 24-hour champions and all sorts. And I just wanted to keep my sort of unbroken line of Super Randonneur Series. And because of the year record, ending and me going into training. I hadn't actually done the long rides. I did the National 24-hour Championships, which counts as a 600-kilometre ride. I did a 200-kilometre ride earlier in the year and a 300-kilometre ride earlier in the year. Well, I hadn't done a 400, and there's no 400s on the calendar, but if you do a longer ride, it counts as one of the short ones. And there was a quite a handy 600-kilometre ride from Essex. So I did that, and it wasn't absolutely ideal for the month record because of all the stops on all that rides, but it was a good route. It was all flat, and it'd be nice for me to see people that I knew and talk to people for a change instead of spending a month all on my own. So I went for the 600, and the weather forecast was good. It wasn't perfect. There was going to be a southerly wind to blow us up the first 300 kilometres. Then at 300 kilometres it'd be dark and night time, and the wind would drop a bit, so I could try and get as far south as I could without sort of overdoing it. Then it'd be a headwind to finish the event, but to finish the event it was only going to be about 200 kilometres, and then I'd turn to crosswind. And, you know, it would have worked out quite well. The tailwind wasn't quite as good, but the headwind wasn't as bad either, so it worked out really well. On the 600 kilometre ride, one of my team members from the year record was riding, Roger Cortis, who did all the accounts. He went for his ultra randonneur, which is if you ride a super randonneur series on 10 different years, they haven't got to be consecutive, and you get the ultra randonneur thing, which not that many people have got. And Roger finished a 600 kilometre ride and got his ultra. And I also heard that there was a 13-year-old riding the 600. Because I was bashing through the controls and not really hanging around, I didn't really see anyone. If that's true, I did hear that there was a 13-year-old going for a SR series. And, well done. That's really good. I think the youngest I've ever heard of before was Byron Buck in 1997. He was age 14. And I think whoever this 13-year-old was, if he'd actually did it, that's the youngest SR in all that UK history. So well done to whoever it was. Don't know the name. I think he rode with his father. I'm not sure. But yeah, I hope someone put something up on Facebook or this YouTube thing. That would be really good. I think that's brilliant. 13-year-old doing an SR. I found it tough at 17. People have asked about my diet and how much I eat. I was surprised in the first sort of 3 or 4 days because I thought I'd be eating lots, but I wasn't. After about a week or so, my appetite really sort of got up to what I thought it would be. And people have asked how much. I think a good guess would be about 7,000 or 8,000 calories a day. That's about the same as a family of 4. That's about what I was eating. To give you an idea, when I was out on the road, trying to do all my eating on the road, towards the end of the month, I deliberately sort of slowed down the effort and just spent an hour taking it easy and riding along and eating. And I was usually stopping twice to fill my pockets up because I just couldn't hold enough food in all my jersey pockets for one feed. They were literally bulging with food, and I was literally riding along eating non-stop, empty both pockets, all 3 pockets, and stop and fill them all up again out the saddlebag. But yeah, you have to eat quite a lot because you're just going all the time. The other thing is the heart rate. And I'll get so many comments about, wow, how do you do it? How do you go this fast with a low heart rate? I couldn't get the heart rate up. I spoke to Chris Hopkinson, who's done a lot of ultra racing. He's first Briton to do RAM. If I told you every race he's done, it'd be a long YouTube clip. He's done loads of ultra racing,